proposed expansion and the diversification plan, and the nature of the company's technology. The existing capacity utilization level can be known from the quantitative information given in the published profit and loss account of the company. The plans of the company in terms of the expansion or diversification can be known in the director's report. तो फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस में आपको ये सब भी स्टडी करना है कि कंपनी का फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स क्या है. Statement of the chairman from the future capital commitment as shown by way of the notes in the balance sheet. The nature of the technology of the company should be seen with reference to the technological developments in the concerned field. The possibility of the product being superseded or possibility of the emergence of a more effective method of manufacturing. Growth is the single most important factor in the economy analysis for the purpose of the investment management. So growth is very important. A company may have the good record of the profit and the performance in the past, but if it does not have the growth potential, its shares cannot be rated high from the investment point of view. An analysis of the financial statement for the past few years would help the investment manager in understanding the financial solvency and liquidity, the efficiency with which the funds are used, profitability and operating efficiency, and the financial and the operating leverage of the company. For this purpose, a certain fundamental ratios will have to be calculated. From the investment point of view, the most important figures are EPS. बहुत ही सिंपल है, like earning available to equity shareholders divided by number of shares, price earning ratio, yield, dividend per share or earning per share upon market price per share, book value, that is the net worth divided by number of shares, intrinsic value, P0 is equal to D1 divided by K minus E, or some other such method. These 5 elements may be calculated for the past 10 years or so and compared with the similar ratios computed from the financial accountant of other companies in the industry and with the average ratios for the industry as a whole. The yield means return, and the asset backing of a share are important consideration in a decision regarding whether the particular market price of the company share is proper or not. Various other ratios to measure the profitability, operating efficiency, and the turnover efficiency of the company may also be calculated. The return on the owner's investment, capital turnover ratio, and the cost structure ratio may also be worked out. To examine the financial solvency or the liquidity of a company, the investment manager may work out the current ratio, liquidity ratio, debt equity ratio, etc. These ratios will provide an overall view of the company to the investment analyst. He can analyze its strength and the weaknesses to see whether it is worth to take risk or not. कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज में लोग क्या कहना चाहते हैं फ्रेंड्स, कि आपका प्रोडक्ट जो है वो दूसरे प्रोडक्ट से आप कैसे डिफरेंशिएट करते हो, दैट इज द कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज. जैसे कि वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट से अगर हम लोग मोबाइल फोन खरीदने जाते हैं, देन इन दैट केस मोस्ट ऑफ द मोबाइल फोन्स आर हैविंग से द एंड्रॉइड एंड से ओनली एप्पल इज हैविंग से द आईओएस. तो एप्पल के पास जो आईओएस है वो उनका एक वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट से दे हैव एन एज ओवर से द अदर कॉम्पिटिटर्स. And because of the security, say like the customers are there, say who prefer say the to go with the iPhone. वैसे ही आप में कोई ऐसा कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज है या नहीं. जैसे कि इनिशियली वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट से जो फ्लिपकार्ट है से व्हेन इट वाज इंट्रोड्यूस, तो उनका एक दे हैड एन एज और दे हैड से एन एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट दैट से दे वर डिलीवरिंग द गुड्स वेरी फास्ट. वो उनका एक कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज था. ऐसा कुछ भी. Another business consideration for the investor is the competitive advantage. A company's long-term success is driven largely by its ability to maintain its competitive advantage. Powerful competitive advantages such as Apple's brand name and the Samsung's domination in the mobile market, create a shield around a business that allows it to keep the competitive distance. तो इसकी वजह से क्या होता है, डेट से देयर इज अ गैप बिटवीन देम. जैसे कि अगर हम लोग फॉक्स वैगन का कार परचेज करते हैं, देन इन दैट केस उनके कार में हमेशा दे फोकस मोर ऑन द से द सिक्योरिटी, दे ऑलवेज फोकस मोर ऑन द सेफ्टी. तो सेफ्टी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इट इज द बेस्ट कार. That is what say the kind of the competitive advantage that say you are able to generate. Quality of the management. This is an intangible factor. We understand that say कोई भी कंपनी का जो मैनेजमेंट है से वो कैसा है. When Infosys was say like headed by Mr. Narayan Murthy, तभी और आज का मैनेजमेंट में we can always see that so there is a difference. Tata Group of the companies when it was headed by Mr. Ratan Tata और अभी so in that also we find that so there is a difference. So ऐसा कुछ वो लोग बात कर रहे हैं. In that is the Reliance Group recently that so there is so the handover of the management so by Mr. Mukesh Ambani to his son. We'll see that say what kind of the like the performance that say he will have in future. Yet it has a very important bearing on the value of the shares. बहुत ही important है. Every investment manager knows that the shares of the certain business houses command a higher premium than those of the similar companies managed by the other business houses. This is because of the quality of the management, the confidence that the investors have in particular business house, its policy vis-a-vis its relationship with the investors, dividend, financial performance record of other companies in the same group, and so on. This is perhaps the reason that an investment manager always gives a close look to the manager, to the management company in whose shares he is supposed to invest. यानी बेसिकली जो कोई म्यूचुअल फंड के मैनेजर्स होते हैं या तो कोई इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के मैनेजर्स होते हैं, तो वो ये सब चीज का बहुत अच्छी तरह से एनालिसिस करते हैं बिफोर दे मेक इन्वेस्टमेंट. Quality of the management has to be seen with reference to the experience, skill and integrity of the person at the helm of the affairs of the company. तो उनका integrity, of course it will have an impact. उनका like public dealing कैसा है, all those things are definitely going to make a difference. The policy of the management regarding the relationship with the shareholders is an important factor since certain business houses believe in very generous dividend and the bonus distribution, while others are rather very conservative. However, an average investor is at disadvantage when compared with the large investor. They do not get the facility to meet the top executive of the company. But the fund managers, तो जो भी मैं बात कर रहा था म्यूचुअल फंड के मैनेजर्स, interested in investing in a huge amount of money generally get to meet the top brasses of the organization. तो ये एक तरह से फायदा भी है एंड ऑनेस्टली ये एक तरफ से नुकसान भी है, बिकॉज जो इतना बड़ा बड़ा बिजनेसेस चलाते हैं वो लोग जब आपको मिलते हैं then in that case say definitely they convince you that you make investment. It is not like that say you make an inquiry. It is that say they will convince you that say my company is really good and definitely I have good future prospects and making investment in this company would definitely give you a good return. तो ये उन्होंने पर अभी तो इन्वेस्टर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बताया है कि आपको उनको मिलने का मौका मिलता है. It is true that so every listed company give a detailed information about the management, but the information that they give is always positive. This is because the no company would host any negative information about the company. So the question is how to find the dirt inside the management. The remedy is to have a look out of the conference calls hosted by the company's CEO and CFO. After reading the company's financial result, they ask the question and answers session from the investors. That's where say one can pick something that indicate about the true position of the company. तो इन सबसे ऊपर से आपको अंदाजा लगाना है. Some other ways to judge the management of the company is to read management discussion and analysis report. Further, it helps when the top management people also are the shareholders. If the large scale unloading of their shares are taking place and something else is communicated to the media, then it is a sign of something went wrong. That is, say something is wrong. Another way to judge the effectiveness of the management is to see past performance of the executives, say approximately last 5 years. Corporate governance, we understand that say top management, then senior level management, middle level management, and say the last level management. Okay, this is what we understand is the uh, hierarchy that say they have, so that we are required to see properly. That says it properly like maintained or not. Following factors have to be kept in mind while judging the effectiveness of the corporate governance. Whether the company is complying with the aspects of the SEBI, how well corporate governance policies serve stakeholders, quality and timeliness of the company's financial disclosure, whether the quality of the independent directors are inducted, that is what we understand. रेगुलेशन यानी कि जो भी रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन है वो सही से हम लोग लाइक एडहर करते या नहीं करते, दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Regulations play an important role in maintaining the sanity of the corporate form organization. In Indian listed companies, Companies Act, Securities Act, Securities Contract and the Regulation Act and SEBI Act basically look after the regulatory aspects of the company. A listed company is also continuously monitored by the SEBI, which through its guidelines and the regulation protect the intent of the investors. तो सेबी इज वर्किंग ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर्स कि कंपनी में से सब कुछ सही चल रहा है या नहीं चल रहा है. देन वी अंडरस्टैंड एट से इनसाइडर ट्रेडिंग में कोई कंपनी फंसा हुआ नहीं है, यानी कोई भी मैनेजमेंट, ऐसा सब कुछ देखने का है. रेगुलरली कंपनीज एक्ट है, से जो कंपटीशन एक्ट है, वो सब एक्ट वो लोग रेगुलरली फॉलो कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं. इनकम टैक्स है. फर्दर अ कंपनी which is dealing in the companies outside India, yeah, it's very true, needs to comply with the FEMA. In this scenario, the Reserve Bank of India does a continuous monitoring. In short, सारा लॉस आप लोग फॉलो करते हो या नहीं करते. लोकेशन, लेबर मैनेजमेंट रिलेशनशिप, तो वो दोनों आपको देखना है. It is situated very far. It is say having lower points. Situated in the heart of the business, it is a good point. The location of the company's manufacturing facilities determine the economic viability, which depends upon the availability of the crucial input like power, skilled labor, raw material. Nearness to the market is also the factor to be considered. In past few years, the investment manager has begun looking into the state of the labor management relationships in the company under consideration and the area where it is located. Pattern of the existing stock holding. तो we understand that से listed company को regularly report करना पड़ता है that से कौन कौन से शेयर होल्डर्स के पास 5% या उससे ज़्यादा शेयर्स है कंपनी के. तो अगर हम लोग वो ऑब्जर्व करेंगे एंड इन दैट वी फाइंड दैट से पिछले 5 साल में से जो शेयर होल्डर्स के पास 5% या उससे ज़्यादा शेयर होल्डिंग था, they still hold the shares. Then in that case, say they are long-term investors. And we understand that say those investors are say definitely going, that is have a faith that say the company का prospects अच्छा है. तो वो आपको एक observe करना है. An analysis of the pattern of the existing stock holding of the company would also be relevant. This would show the stake of various parties into the company. An interesting case in this regard is the Punjab National Bank, in which Life Insurance Corporation and other financial institutions had substantial holding. When the bank was nationalized, the residual company proposed a scheme where those shareholders who wished to opt out could receive a certain amount as a compensation in cash. It was only the instance and the bargaining strength of the institutional investors that the compensation offered to the shareholders who wished to opt out the company was raised considerably. यानी सब लोग अगर ऑप्ट आउट हो रहे हैं, then in that case it is not a good sign. मार्केटेबिलिटी यानी इजीली आप उसको कैश में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो. Another important consideration for an investment manager is the marketability of the shares. तो उसका वॉल्यूम ऑफ द ट्रेड क्या है ना. हम लोग स्टॉक मार्केट पे देख सकते हैं कि वॉल्यूम कितना है. वॉल्यूम अगर ज्यादा है देन इन दैट केस इट इज गुड. वॉल्यूम अगर कम है देन इट इज नॉट गुड. Mere listing of the share on the stock exchange does not automatically mean that share can be sold. बिल्कुल सही बात है. लिस्ट हो गया इसका मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि अभी शेयर्स बिकने वाला है. उसका ट्रेड कितना होता है वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. मार्केटेबिलिटी, लिक्विडिटी. There are many shares who remain inactive for the long period with no transaction being that is affected. To purchase or sell such scripts is a difficult task. In this regard, the dispersal of the shareholding with a special reference to the extent of the public holding should be seen. The other relevant factors are speculative interest in the particular script, the particular stock exchange where it is traded, and the volume of the trading. So these are the things that we have in the company analysis. इन सबको कैसे किया जाएगा से उसका अभी हम लोग नेक्स्ट करेंगे.